What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 6, Episode 5. So, we start off, we have TT and Vanessa and Cree meeting up. Poor TT, child, she done dropped the glass of wine. She remembered to bring another glass of wine, forgot to bring the broom to sweep up the glass. But, you know, it is what it is. She said she juggling relationship, baby, wedding plans. She's doing it by herself because her soon-to-be husband has to travel. Tanice shows up, so she ends up coming in too. And, you know, the ladies are just sitting around chopping it up. Nothing deep, nothing big. But by the end of the conversation, you know, Cree is going to help TT with the wedding. Cree said, listen, Jamaica is like a second home for me. I'm used to it. It's cool. And, you know, Vanessa is vouching for Cree. And Cree said, I take my job seriously when I plan an event. And they were like, yeah, because you was really giving it to Lil Twist. And she was like, yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm irritated that he showed up in pajamas. And then he's smoking and he's dropping the ashes on the floor. Like I take what I do seriously. And the thing is, they're so used to Twist that, you know, TT was like, listen, if Twist shows up to my wedding in pajamas, I probably wouldn't even trip. And, you know, Cree was like, but I would. Like, I would be really pissed off if he showed up in pajamas. She was like, if this was your wedding, I wouldn't even have let him in. And, you know, they were like, listen, it's just Twist. Like, that is what he is. That is what he does. And Cree was like, listen, I don't care who he is. I don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, it's about respect. So I feel like we're going to see more clashes between the two of them because I see where you're coming from, Cree, and I hear where you're coming from. But when you're sitting among a group of his friends that are like, girl, that's just who he is, they've accepted it. So I get where you were upset last week because you were doing this event. You didn't want to be judged. You wanted everything to go off without a hitch. But if they're saying, child, that is just who he is. He's going to show up in pajamas. He's going to show up in slippers. He's going to show up with a cup of mystery punch. That's just Twist. So, girl, don't get your panties in a bunch over Twist. Twist going to be what Twist going to be, and he's going to be who he is. He's going to do what he does, child. It's going to be like a weekend event, which I guess most destination weddings, I guess, because you know you're going to be somewhere else. So, and she was like, you can invite everybody to the wedding, but you don't necessarily have to invite everybody to the reception and things like that. So, they're working it out. Then we go over to Egypt. Now, Egypt has cut off all her hair, which I saw pictures of it on Instagram and stuff like that. I think it looks nice on her. With her cheekbones and everything, I think it looks really, really nice on her. But once again, what I'm disturbed by is the fact that Egypt said that Sam told her this would be a good idea. He even picked out the haircut and was like, this is it. This is the one. And then he proceeded to talk about why he thought it would be a good idea, why he thought it would look good on, you know, with her face and everything, which it does. It absolutely does. And she said for her, it was sort of like her way of, you know, declaring I'm an adult, like I'm not a kid. This is my real boom. Okay. Let me see how old my people are. Does anybody here remember the movie, The Legend of Billie Jean? Was it Billie Jean? And basically, it was a story. I don't remember all the details because it was out in the 80s and it turned into like a cult classic. But it was a story of this woman. She was babysitting some kids, and I think she got accused of stealing or whatever the situation was, and she ended up going on a run. And at some point in the movie, honey, she cut off all her hair, and it like transformed her into this badass. And I felt like that's how I felt like with Egypt. She said the hair just gave her a little extra. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So then we see Egypt in the studio with Sam. Now listen, this is what I'm confused about. Sam is in the studio booth with a whole winter coat on and the hood over his head. Now, I have seen people do some interesting things in the booth because, you know, I've seen people turn the lights out. I remember Janet Jackson said that she had to turn the lights out when she did, what was the song where she ended up doing all the moaning and stuff because she said she was going to be embarrassed in front of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I've seen people with candles. I mean, hell, I've seen people smoking weed, okay? But I was like, you're not hot? So Savannah comes in. See, I said her name right. I don't want to be disrespectful and call that girl by the wrong name. But Savannah came through and she's talking to them. Sam sees Savannah and he ends up turning on the speaker or old girl turned the speaker on so he could hear the conversation. Whatever. The two of them. Sidebar, word on the curb is that they're like trying to sue the show because they don't like the way they're being portrayed on the show, and that they feel like production did them wrong in the editing. No, they didn't. It was you. Anyway, Savannah shows up and tells them about the event that they're doing with Slip and Slide and with Who's House for Entertainment. Now, I will say this. If we're talking about being professional, it was very unprofessional for JoJo to send an invitation via Savannah. He should have picked up the phone. He should have sent the email or whatever. I'm sure Egypt has management, and her management is probably Sam, but neither here nor there. If this is a professional event and you're trying to make it look professional, then you should have handled it professionally. But neither here nor there. He sent the invitation through Savannah, and this is why. Because Savannah got it wrong. She had the right intentions, but she got it wrong. Because JoJo said, I don't care if Sam comes, he just can't perform. And that's what he said when he told her about Egypt coming. He wants Egypt to perform, but he doesn't want Sam to perform. And he said, I don't care about Egypt coming. About Sam coming, he just can't perform. But the way Savannah related was that Sam can't come. And Egypt was like, oh, well, if Sam can't come, I can't come. If you don't fuck with him, you don't fuck with me, Which, I get that. Now that I get. You invite me somewhere and tell me I can't bring my man, oh, well, then we ain't coming. If he's not welcome, then there's no need for me to be there. How about that? And then, she says, because it's something that I'm about to get to something else, but it's something she said before I want to say the next thing. She said, damn. What did she say? It was something she said before what I want to say, because what I want to say next is going to, crack me up. But anyway, so she was just like, basically she was just saying, I just find it interesting that he would send an invitation to you instead of, coming to me. That wasn't very professional of him. Yada, yada, yada. I can't remember what it was. Then she said, we are on some Beyonce, Jay-Z shit. We are on their status. And I don't understand why people won't respect us that way. It was at that moment that I think Savannah realized that they're delusional. Like, up until that point, I think Savannah was sort of like thinking, oh, they're doing them wrong, and they're really a cool couple, and, I don't know why everybody's treating them bad. But in that moment, I think is when she realized, oh, they be tripping. And she even, like, you could see her giggling like, Beyonce and Jay-Z. She was like, yeah, and we just don't get the respect that we deserve. We don't get the respect that we deserve. And then here comes Sam. Yeah, because, what has he done? He's had his company. Ain't nobody seen him doing nothing with his company. What has he done? And they were like, well, who is this with? And Savannah was like, it's with Slip and Slide Records. And when Sam heard that, then he changed his tune. He was like, oh, wait a minute. That's Trick and Trina and Plies and this and that. And Savannah was like, yeah, like, you really need to think about this because this could be a really good opportunity for you. Like, I get it. I understand the whole Sam part of this, but you also have to think about your career. And this could be a really good opportunity. I just don't want you to see, I don't want to see you walk away from it because of that. Like, you need to think this through. So by the time it was over, Sam was like, she can go. I don't care. That's fine. That's fine. She can come. She can go. She can go. Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh, that's what it was. She tried to say that JoJo started that argument at her mother's party. So first JoJo started arguments at my mother's party, and now JoJo saying I can't bring Sam. JoJo didn't start that argument. And it didn't even need to be an argument. JoJo was just trying to understand why Sam was talking shit about him because he was like, I don't have no problems with Sam. And it escalated. But listen, that's the first episode. I ain't going back there. So then we have Boogie going to talk to Brianna. Now, he wants to talk to Brianna about potentially, like, it wasn't like a real intervention like they did with Boogie a couple of seasons ago, but he did want to talk to Brianna about her drinking. Like, I love her, you know, I know she's mad at me right now, but I really do care about her, and she's really drinking a little bit too much. So he ends up calling his business partner, who was the guy he met in rehab. Boogie, what's going on with your rehab center? Because he was opening one a few years ago with him, and I hope it went, listen, I don't wish no bad on that, because I think that's a great idea. So I hope he was able to do something with that. Anyway, but you could see him talking to production. Well, he talked to his friend first, and then he was like, you know, and his friend told him, like, listen, it's not gonna be easy, but you need to talk to her. Like, if you really care about her, like, she was there for you. And you could see that Boogie was like, I know her intentions were right. Like, in the moment, I wasn't happy about it. But, like, ultimately, she, you know, I love her for it, you know. And I don't want to say he said she saved my life, because I don't know if he said that or not. But along those lines. So he gets there. He gets to her apartment, and he calls her. Now, see, I try not to pick apart production too much. But this scene, y'all, I'm going to have to pick this scene apart. The first thing I'm going to have to pick apart in this scene is he supposedly just rolled up on her and she wasn't expecting him to come. Yet she had a full crew in her house filming while he had a full crew downstairs filming. Now, it could be that they were just filming her and it was coincidental when production was like, listen, we already got cameras over there. We can go do it now so we can get it on camera. It could very well have been something like that. But okay, keep walking with it. So he calls her and she's already drinking. And then she ends up offering him a glass of wine. Because first he was like, can you come down? And she was like, no, I'm not coming down. I'm upstairs. I'm doing something. But you can come up if you want to. You want some wine? That's what pissed him off. And it pissed him off because you know I'm sober. You know I'm not drinking. Why would you offer me alcohol? Why would you offer me wine? You know what my issues are. So that pissed him off. He was like, first of all, she drunk. So it ain't like I can talk to her while she's drinking. Because she's not going to hear anything I'm saying. Second of all, she like legit just offered me alcohol. So he gets out of the car. Now, mind you, he pulled up in a car. I'm sure that was provided by production. And he says, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this right now. Now, while this is going on, she's upstairs. And she's like, because he said, well, let me call you back. Because I guess he was going to still, you know, think about it. But I think he thought about it. He just got irritated. So then he called her back and said, you know what? We're not doing this today. Like, you know, I was downstairs, but I got irritated, so let's do this another day. Here's my problem with that. I understand curiosity killing the cat and all, but at the end of the day, what you say is okay. And he even said that. He said, Bree, do me a solid. Like, you love me, you my friend. I need you to just let it go for now. I'm going to call you later. But right now, I'm gotten irritated and I can't do it. Now, here's the thing. He could have just as easily have gotten irritated with production. He could have been irritated with something that happened. Maybe he got out the car and he ripped his pants. You know, it could have been any number of reasons why he no longer wanted to do this scene. She automatically assumed that he was upset because she wouldn't come downstairs. So then she starts going off, well, I don't come to you, and you're not that dude, and I said you could come upstairs, but you don't get those privileges. And she started calling him all kinds of, y'all know, ain't this mother effers, and, you know, spoiled brat, and you ain't this, and you ain't that. And he's trying to tell her, Bree, let it go, Bree, let it go, Bree, let it go. No, I'm not letting it go. Oh, so you mad because I won't come to you? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Y'all know how Bree does. So next thing you know, of course, she ends up hanging up on him, throwing the phone down, being real dramatic. Then she goes downstairs. She said, you know, you mad I wasn't come downstairs because I'm in the middle of cooking my dinner. Well, you miraculously took your dinner off the stove because now here you come. And production must have told him she's on her way down. And he was like, see, this is what I didn't want to do. Here's why I'm saying this is a whole produced situation. Because he said as soon as he called her and realized she was drinking, he said he wasn't going to do the singing. He didn't want to do it. He was ready to go. That car that he pulled up in was literally still sitting there the whole time. And why you couldn't get in the car and leave? Why wouldn't production let you leave the scene? And you could call your own Uber by then. And the time it took her for y'all to do that back and forth and then for her to come downstairs, you in the middle of Los Angeles. I know it was an Uber 2 minutes away. But neither here nor there. Here comes Bree coming downstairs, and they get to going back and forth. And to Boogie's credit, he did not argue with her. Everything she said to him, he was like, okay, all right. I mean, okay. I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, he wouldn't give. And on one hand, he did the right thing, but on the other hand, it really made it worse because she wanted to argue. She wanted that. She wanted that smoke, and he wouldn't give it to her. He would not give her the satisfaction. So on one hand, it was a good thing, but on the other hand, it probably wasn't because she was not getting what she wanted in that moment. So, so that was the end of that. And she told him, you're a spoiled brat. Your resume does not match the expectation you have of others. It was horrible. So then we had this very uncomfortable scene with TT and Sean. Sean's calling. He's on travel for work. She was just like, you were supposed to be here. Why aren't you here? I'm here with the baby and I'm stressed out. Like, she was just kind of nagging. I felt like she was nagging. And because the first thing he said was, I miss you. I miss you guys. And she started going off about, well, you're supposed to be here. You wouldn't miss us if you was here when you were supposed to be. I was like, damn, let that man be nice. Let the man say he miss you. Damn, girl. But anyway. Let me rewind. I missed a whole important situation. Back in the studio with Savannah and Lord TT, Savannah and Egypt. Egypt then told Savannah the whole situation with TT and her fiance cheating on her, or the rumor is that, and the impression was, so Savannah was like, well, does she know? And Egypt was like, I don't know if she knows or not. I mean, I've known about it for a while, but somehow my aunt found out about it, and so now I know, it's going to be out there because, basically insinuating that her aunt don't know how to keep her mouth shut. Now, here's the thing. When they did that scene a couple of weeks ago, they made it seem like TT didn't know. Now all of a sudden, TT knew the whole time. Because even Pep was like, I mean, I knew about Sam cheating on TT, but it wasn't my business. So I guess Pep probably told Egypt, because Pep and Egypt are friends. That's not mother and daughter. They just friends, okay? There are no boundaries with the two of them. But neither here nor there. Sam and TT end up going to counseling. And TT, they're late, and she's emotional already. So I don't know if they had an argument before they got there, or she just had a bad mommy morning. I really feel like, and I'm not trying to be melodramatic, with what we're seeing from TT these last couple of episodes, and even this episode, I wonder if she was dealing with a little postpartum. Because she seems to be very, very emotional, and very, very, I mean, I know we had the COVID and all that. I'm not saying she couldn't be too cautious, because you can't be too cautious. But she just seemed to be a little extra. I don't know. But they had the conversation, and TT, the man asked them, they was with a therapist, he's not a psychiatrist, but he's a therapist, and he's trying to get him some tools. And he asked them why they want to get married, which was a good question, and I feel like both of them gave a good answer. He asked her, well, do you trust him? And she said, I do. Now, I don't know if she knows about him cheating on her, and they worked through it, because she did say the beginning of our relationship was very rocky. So maybe in the beginning, he was still sowing his wild oats, and he was still out there doing, playing games, and he got caught up. And maybe, they did reset, and they did come to a happy medium. I don't know. But it didn't sound like she was struggling with trust and issues of infidelity. And if she is, she ain't say nothing about it. The man, and he ain't asked about the infidelity, but he said, do you trust him? And she said, I do. I trust him. She said that, but she's just really, just struggling with maneuvering everything. Her life has just changed so much. So again, she was very emotional. She was crying a lot. And he said, Sam was like, child, I'm used to this. This is what I've been dealing with. So I'm just wondering, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all think it might be a little, I don't know. Y'all tell me. So then we're back at Eric's drug palace, aka his weed stove. And Eric, JoJo, Cree, Savannah, and Stevie Jr. come through. And JoJo was asking Savannah, listen, did you ask Egypt? What did she say? And that's when we found out that Savannah sort of kind of relayed the message not accurately, because JoJo was like, I don't care if Sam comes. Sam can come. He can sit in the corner as long as he don't bother me and he quiet. I don't care. He can go do whatever he need to do. But I want Egypt there. Like, Egypt is the talent. So then Savannah told them what she said about them being Beyonce on Beyonce Jay-Z status, and all of them had a good chuckle. All of them had a good chuckle. And once again, they are all blaming who? Sam, for this craziness between, that is the two of them, right? That whole Egypt Sam situation. And we found out that Cree and Savannah have been hanging out and they're real cool. You know, that they're getting cool. And they seem to genuinely kind of be clicking. Like, I was here for it. I'm liking Savannah a little bit more. The first 2 episodes, I was a little like, spoiled rich kid, little attitude. But I'm kind of starting to like her a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know. Because I feel like she really is the kind of person that sits back and figures it out. Like, because she was with Egypt and Sam first, she sort of, I think, was leaning a little bit, but she didn't jump all the way. And she just sort of watched. Like, when she met TT last week, she sort of observed. She kind of was like, maybe TT is the one running around here and stealing her, her ideas to get married in Jamaica. But then she's listening to them too and kind of like, So, as they're getting ready to leave, Savannah was like, well, let me talk to you, Cree, because I need to run this by you. And so Savannah tells Cree about the conversation about TT and her boyfriend or whatever. And Savannah was like, listen, if that were me, I'd want to know. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be part of a situation like that where I'm standing around knowing something. I mean, I done been invited to the wedding and everything, and I know something that's serious. So when she tells Cree about it, Cree was like, well, first of all, why is Egypt even telling you something like that? And Savannah said the same thing. She was like, why are you telling me all her business? But Cree was like, listen, at the end of the day, me and Luke don't get along, but I would never entertain a conversation with somebody talking shit about him. And I would never tell family business. So she said, first of all, I'm going to say this to you, Savannah. You need to keep your head on a swivel, because if she would do this to family, you got to be careful about calling her a friend. Second of all, I'm supposed to be doing this wedding, and I know I would feel some kind of way sitting on information like this while I'm planning a whole wedding and around her all the time, all day, every day, and her not knowing. So I don't feel comfortable telling her because I don't know her like that, but I'm going to talk to Vanessa because I know her and Vanessa are tight. Now, here's what I'm going to say about that. I think everybody has the right intentions, but now what we've done is we've gone from chastising Egypt about spreading the rumor to spreading the rumor. I know your intentions are pure. Well, I don't know about pure, but I know your intentions are, Lord, I've been talking for 22 minutes. I'm almost done. I know your intentions are sort of in the right place, but at the end of the day, that was a lot. That's a lot for you to turn around and talk to Savannah. And tell Vanessa. So I guess all of that's going to happen next week, honey. The other thing, I'm going to give JoJo credit for this because Sam was kind of coming for JoJo a little bit about the Who's House Entertainment not being what it's supposed to be. And JoJo did admit that. He said, listen, I've had my management company for 5 years, and people don't know us like they should, which means I'm not working hard enough, which means that I need to get on my grind. So what I can always do is respect somebody that says, listen, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not done trying, and I'm going to keep moving. I also respect the fact that I think JoJo uses his connections but doesn't take advantage of them. And that's okay. It's okay to say, listen, I'm Reverend Run's son, and I know that gets me in the door, but it doesn't. It gets me in the door, but it doesn't get me the prize. Like, I still got to hustle. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments, please.